Hello there, my name's Tracy Elsom and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator based in Canada. Today I want to show you a very quick and simple card using this brand new stamp set from the Stampin' Up! 2017 holiday catalogue. The stamp set is called Snowflake Sentiments and has some lovely greetings in there and a few little images. It has a set of dies that coordinate with it, and I'm going to use those today as well. You'll be able to buy the stamp set and dies separately, or if you buy them as a bundle using a special code, you can actually save 10% off the cost of getting the two separately. So I'm going to start with this Season's Greetings stamp there, and I'll probably use this smaller image at the top. But we're going to start with the card base. The card base is Pool Party. It's 8.5 inches by 5.5 inches, scored at 4 1/4, and just fold it along the scored line. Use a bone folder to sharpen the crease, and that's the card base prepared. Now I'm going to use the dies. These are the dies that coordinate with that stamp set. It's a really fancy edge die there. This is the one that I want to use, and it looks quite simple, doesn't look as if there's an awful lot to it. But when I bring my big shot in and show you what I can do with this particular die, I think you'll be quite impressed. So I have just a piece of Whisper White card there, and I'm going to place the die on here, try and get it fairly even, fairly level on my very well worn pads without getting my head in the shot. Oops. There we go, that looks about right. And put my pad on top and pass it through my big shot. There we go, that's the one piece. And this is what you end up with, this beautiful shaped edge with the little perforations on it. It's really pretty. While I have my big shot out, I'll also going to cut a couple of smaller pieces, I think, from that same stamp set, from the same dies. They look like little squares, but actually, as you'll see when I cut them out, they're little motifs. There we go. All the cracking and creaking is perfectly normal with a big shot. It's the pressure of the dies being pushed through the card. So here's one little image, and here's the other one. So that's the big shot finished with. I'll move that out of the way, and then we can start work on the main focus of the card, which is this white piece here. I'm going to start there with an embossing buddy. It's just a little bag of powder, and by rubbing it over the piece of card, it removes any oil and static from the card and helps to stop the embossing powder sticking where it shouldn't be. Here's my image. It's the Season's Greetings sentiment. We'll just get that all inked up with Versamark, and then try not to get my head in the shot. Let's get that in place. So there's my sentiment. Okay, I have some silver embossing powder. I'm just going to sprinkle that over the top. Give it a little press and just check it for any odd bits. I have an old stylus here, an old piercing tool, and I'm just going to remove a couple of specks that were not where they're supposed to be. There we go. And all I'm doing is just using this little pointy metal thing, and it helps to pick up any odd stray specks of embossing powder that are where they shouldn't be. So I think I'm okay there. Maybe a little bit more needed on that bottom of that G. Let's give that another go. Yeah, that's much better. Take away a few odd pieces there. And I'm ready to emboss. I will get rid of this embossing powder, put it back in the tub, and I can use that another time. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my heat tool now. So if you've got your sound turned up, you'll need to turn it down for a minute. I'm going to start off by heating it away from the piece of card, get it nice and hot, and then I'll bring it over to the card afterwards to get the embossing done. So I'm just going to turn it on now. I tend to start by heating it on the back. You can see the card is starting to curl, and by heating it on the back first, I'll get it to curl one way, and then when I heat the front and get the embossing going, hopefully it won't be too curved. There we go, you can see it going now. I'll chase them out. Going to give it a little bit more of a heat on the back, just to straighten it out a little bit more. Okay, so there's my piece. Now I'm going to take my two little snowflake pieces, poke that little bit out there. Okay, and with a tiny bit of Tombow glue. And you really do only need just a tiny drop. Just add that to the back of this. There we go. Have some tweezers. And I'm going to place that little one just there. There we go. And the same with the small one. Let's just tiny dab of there we go. A little bit of Tombow there, and we'll put that one up there. Okay, so now with my card base, we'll turn over this card, and I'm actually going to use quite a lot of Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of this piece. I really want it to hold up well on the card. Yeah, I know it's overkill, but there we go. That's better. I'm going to put a couple in the middle there as well, just because. Okay, let's get the backs off these now. Last couple. Make sure the card opens the way you think it's going to open. Even the most experienced card maker has made that mistake. Okay, so with the piece now attached to the front, what I think I will do is start on the inside. So for that I just have a 4" by 5 1/4" inch piece of card, and I'm going to bring my Big Shot back in, I think. And I'm going to take another little bit of Pool Party card, and I'm going to cut a couple more of those snowflake pieces using those dies. So there's my piece of card, my snowflake images. just run that through. There we go. Take out that one and let's do it again. This particular image loves to stay stuck to the cutting plate. We run it through again. There we go. Lots of creaking and groaning, but it's come through in the end. So there we go. Pops out really easily. Okay, so this is my card. Just going to add some Tombow glue to the back of that. Doesn't need a lot. It's very strong glue, but it gives you the advantage of being able to slide it into place and just make sure you're happy with the placement of it. So that's that. And then take my piece and just like I did on the front, just a tiny dab of glue. There we go. In each. There we are. Let's put that in the corner like that. So that's that one, and I'm going to do the same, I think, on this envelope, but I think on the flap this time, and I'm going to use the smaller one of the two pieces. Go. So that's that finished, and then just to finish off I'm going to put some baker's twine on that. It's a bit kinked, so I'm just going to run it through, holding on to my bone folder just to keep it in place. Wrap this around, and I like to tie in a knot to start with, just a simple double knot. Now I can tie this bow, hopefully, without it deciding to fight me, she says. Being able to grab hold of it. There we go. Move it along a little bit. And we'll trim the ends. So there we have. Simple Christmas card. Very pretty. Quite delicate. And I hope you like it. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye bye.